Welcome back to the Takeout. Last time California elected a Republican as governor, that was 20 years ago when Arnold Schwarzenegger was reelected. I covered the recall election in 2003 when he ran the first time and won. This year, Republicans think they have a chance to end that very long, 2-decade-long dry spell, thanks to a very crowded field to see there of Democratic candidates and the state's top two primary system that puts the top two in the primary into the general. So, joining us right now, one of those candidates on the Republican side, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. And we should emphasize that everyone you just saw on the screen, welcome to be on this program. But Sheriff Bianco was the first one to accept our invitation. Sheriff, it's good to see you. Let me talk to you about news of the day. President fired Pam Bondi as Attorney General. Was that a sign of strength or weakness?
Boy, I don't know. That kind of came out of the blue. I've met Pam several times. I think she's done a great job. It's obviously been a very tumultuous year and several months that she's been there. But that came out of the blue. For a law enforcement perspective, she's done very well by us, been very responsive to us. And in our world, especially in the major county sheriff's world, she's going to be missed.
From your vantage point, did you see or detect anything that justified her being fired?
No, but I also don't want to speculate. I don't know what's going on in Washington, D.C., behind the scenes. And we get what we get from the media, both sides, and we try and decipher what it is in the middle. And I don't know if we'll ever know. Both of them, I've seen both comments from both the president and from Ms. Bondi, and they've both been positive. So I don't think it's something major. I think it might be, it's new and it's big. So I think we might be making a bigger deal out of it than maybe what we should, but that remains to be seen.
Understood. What would you say to Republicans who are trying to decide in California between you and Steve Hilton? Why are you a better choice?
I'm a lifelong Republican. I'm the only one on the Republican side. You only have a choice between me and Steve. There are a couple of other Republicans, but we have to be realistic and see who has a chance of winning. And in the end, I have a lifelong past of irrefutable public service and Republican conservative values and beliefs. And Steve does not. His have completely changed for his own personal benefit or political benefit. And I think people are seeing through that relatively quickly. So I think the choice is very clear. We definitely need a Republican. And right now, I'm the only Republican running.
He says you knelt at a Black Lives Matter rally in 2020.
Yeah, the truth of that is every major city was burning at that time. And what city didn't burn? Mine, because I was the first law enforcement officer leader in the country to use overwhelming force to eliminate them from my city. When they showed up, we had 10,000 at their protests. And when they showed up here, and we eliminated from our city within an hour, and they've never come back. That's the reality of how I feel about violent protests and BLM. And regardless of what Steve wants to pay and get people to believe, when you attack your opponent, you know you're losing and you're just trying to bring your opponent down. But the reality is people, especially in Riverside County, know what happened. It's not what happened that day. I'll pray any day. They asked us to pray for the safety of our deputies because they knew what was coming. We prayed. It worked out well because there were no deputy injuries when we removed them from our city.
Sheriff, why did you seize ballots from the most recently conducted election in your county dealing with the redistricting question?
We have an investigation. We were presented evidence. Our investigators moved on that evidence. We asked questions. It came to a point where the only option where we were going to find the truth was to count those ballots. So we went to a judge. The judge agreed, and he issued that warrant for us to seize those ballots. It's very plain and simple. It's no different than any other investigation that we start, and it's not going to be any different than any investigation that we finish unless politics and a failed attorney general come into play. Sheriff, and they're able to stop it and hide it.
Let me jump in on that. 40 seconds. Why not let the public know the justification for those warrants, unseal them so they can evaluate, as you did, the underlying reason?
Oh, yeah, we're getting them unsealed. This is another play on politics. That most warrants are sealed in the beginning because we don't want that information getting out before we have an opportunity to seize the evidence that we're looking for. We've already told the judge to unseal the ballot or the warrant. It's up to him. We couldn't care less.
Chad Bianco, Riverside County Sheriff, candidate for governor in California. I appreciate the time, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.